Hey, I'm back. And yeah, just another just me talking video. And yeah, it's been a long time since I made my last video. And the reason why is because I've been having a lot of car problems. My brother's car broke down and he ended up taking my car for pretty much the last 2 months. And this last few weeks have been a fucking headache. And he was being a complete idiot about it. But and of course, it didn't help that the mechanic was being lazy with this truck, and he finally got it fixed. And then but we ended up having to get the battery replaced and gas refilling up gas. Basically, his fuel injectors went bad, and to make it even worse, the fuel injectors were no longer being made, even though that they were finally fixed. But don't even ask. Of course, it didn't also help that my brother refused to give me a ride back to my own car so I could take it back home with me, but no, that was too much work, wasn't it? Asshole. But, anyways, lots of bizarre news happening. Yep, people are still making their Nintendo videos, especially Blackmon, but you know what? I'm about ready to just unsubscribe to him. I mean, his videos are start I mean, I remember back when he was making sense, but now all of a sudden he's just starting to sound more like Alex Jones. Yeah, just fucking nut job who just won't shut the fuck up. And of course, the supposed leaks of the Xbox 720 and PS4. As far as I'm concerned with Sony, I don't hate them, but I did hate the PS3, and I still hate it, and it's still colossal. Uh, I still see it as a clusterfuck of a console. Unlike Nintendo, where we'll just make bad shit crazy things up, sound like Alex Jones, and go all insane on people. And I'm not saying they're saying conspiracy theories and all this other shit like Alex Jones. I'm just saying that they're just spitting out and saying crap that doesn't make as much sense as what Alex Jones is now spitting out. And they're just starting to sound as just as insane as he is now. Which is why I'm just not going to talk to him over Skype or anything, because I'm done with talking to crazy people. I mean, crazy lunatics. I'm just not going to do it anymore. I mean, it's getting to the point that where they're literally sounding less like, "Oh, we hate Nintendo because we just don't like their console because of all the failures." Hey, I even think that Nintendo made a couple of failures with their Wii U, but they went from being somewhat reasonable to a psycho about ready to break into your house and fucking go to town you with a machete and screaming Nintendo sucks and Nintendo destroyed my entire life while they're just soaking in your blood. And then decided to eat your liver and crying like Nintendo ruined my life. Yeah, right after they butchered children. I mean, it's gotten. I mean, a lot of people. The main reason why they're really mad is because Nintendo doesn't have. It's got all these kiddie games. It kind of reminds me of another thing that happened. But anyways, it basically, I don't have any real way of making a video like this, but basically what they would want to see is a Mario first-person shooter game where Mario has two machine guns, guns down to the entire family, then goes up to some guy, slices his throat, pulls out his eye socket, then whips out his dick, socket fucks the guy in the eye, and then blows his load, and then repeatedly stabs the man in the face, and then rips into the man's face, rips out whatever chunks he can, and then starts eating it with all the flesh and, well, white sticky stuff, and then starts going and saying, "It's a me, a Mario." Yeah, I said it. And that's what their videos are, anti-fucking Nintendo videos are starting to sound like. Me, all I wanted was just a decent console, not have batshit crazy people up there saying insane crappy things. I mean, the reason why we're having slow frame rates is because none of the programmers understands the GPU and how it actually works. I mean, actually, Nintendo and Sony are using something called OpenGL and DirectX. Well, that's Microsoft. It's their own product, it's their patent, so they can do whatever they want with it. And of course, and with all these rumors leading up, the weak CPU and stronger GPUs, I pretty much figured that's what Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony were going to do. Of course, Nintendo went one step further and they really went with a weak CPU, but in my honest case, I don't really care. Well, because the GPU basically removes the physics programming away from the CPU and puts it onto the GPU. That's why the GPU on the Wii U runs at 550 megahertz, but yet the CPU only runs at like 1.5, I believe. I think I'm a little wrong on those numbers. And here's the thing about the GPU that you don't understand. DirectX has had the GPU in there since I believe 9, maybe even before. I don't know. Or at least, and the Xbox kind of has a GPU in there, the Xbox 720, which is why they were able to push out better graphics with a low-end CPU, which is what a GPU is supposed to do. But OpenGL finally got it with their 4.3 or whatever. I don't know. I don't think it's 4.3. I don't, well, with their newer OpenGL, I should say. And of course, it came in the form of OpenCL. Unlike some moron that I'm not going to put up, said that Apple was going to drop their OpenGL for OpenCL. Yeah, it's basically like saying that you're going to have a download service without a computer. Good luck on that one. And of course, OpenCL's main product is the GPU, which which is fully integrated within the new Wii U. But most people that are converting from DirectX to OpenGL just never used the GPU on the OpenGL side of things, so henceforth the bad frame rate and the bad coding that's happening. But here's a surprising little sticker. First of all, Xbox 720 is going to have a full-on GPU on theirs, which, because they decided to go fully dependent on it. And Sony's going to have it as well. It basically means the next line of consoles will have almost the same, will have a GPU architecture in them. And, of course, a use of weaker CPUs with stronger GPUs, which is what a GPU was designed to do. So when this next line of consoles come out, they don't need to have oversized fucking CPUs like Sony. Because Sony, when they created their PS3, that's what they thought the market was going to go through, was with bigger CPUs and somewhat benign GPUs. Big fucking mistake, Sony. Somewhat benign GPUs is what I meant, but yeah, big mistake, Sony. Basically, and this has also led to the problem why they're bad frame rates, is that, Sony went the complete opposite direction. Of course, Nintendo's not guilty, is guilty of this because their CPU inside their Wii's were a hell of a lot more stronger than their GPUs. But then again, you got these whole marks of people that are yelling at Nintendo for staying with kiddie stuff and wanting more mature stuff. Yeah, having Mario eye socket one of the villains, socket fuck a guy, I fuck a guy, and of course that whole argument just takes me right back to Warner Brothers. Yeah, Warner Brothers, when basically everybody was all complaining that Looney Tunes and their whole ideas and marketing were just dead, and they didn't want any more kiddie stuff, and it was all going to go all dark. And by the way, this was a real show. I can't remember the title of it, but they turned all the Looney Tunes into superheroes and with more darker, bolting stories. Yeah, the show was a complete failure and a massive train wreck. And now Cartoon Network's got a newer version of the Looney Tunes where they're basically back to their old ways. And the whole dark brooding stuff was pretty much just wiped out like a bad memory. And of course, then you got Capcom with the whole Resident Evil, because everybody wanted Resident Evil to be more like Gears of War. And of course, you know where that went, Resident Evil 6. Yeah, it didn't exactly work out. There are still some people out there who defend Resident Evil 6. Sam. But, you know, gotta Americanize them because them Japanese people and their gaming companies are going all down the drain. Even though, you know, what happened at Hitman Absolution, which was done by a Western company, a Western developing company, went down the drain. And, you know. So I don't want to hear, oh, they just make kiddie games. Alright, we'll make dark and brooding stuff. And then watch it all, or, you know, or just go away from the formula all the way because, you know, they got to go with the more hit game, like what happened with Resident Evil 6. Or, you know, if they, you know, go away from the kiddie games, you know, see what happened to the fucking Looney Tunes when they made them all dark brooding superheroes. Massive fucking failure. And of course, they gave a reboot to Devil May Cry. A reboot that wasn't needed, but that's not exactly going well. Now, as far as the me and the PS4 goes, I don't know if it's going to come out on the. Or they're going to show it February 20th. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Because Sony kind of likes to do stupid shit like that. Yeah, Sony sometimes would put up special events and just show a bunch of video games. But Sony does sometimes put up special events and then show up the PS Vita, which is completely flopping. And still flopping. I don't hate Sony. I just didn't like the PS3. The PS3 was a complete fucking train wreck. And it still is a train wreck. Because if Sony had kept their A game and kept the price and did, you know, fuck up their entire launch of that console and put themselves in massive debt, it would have probably been the number one console, beating the Xbox 360. But no, they clusterfuck that one. So I'm hoping that the PS4 has a better launch, a better price, and just better all around. Oh well, that's it for now.